Again, folks, Brother Pete with tidbits from the Word. So glad to be with you. Listen, let's look at the model prayer in Matthew chapter 6, verse 9 through 13. We're going to see one thing first. The language of it is a teaching language. It's teaching us how to pray properly. So it's a teaching language. By the way, the language of the Bible is a teaching language. It is a learning book. It is a teaching book, if you get in it. The first words is our Father. And we need to kind of think about that as saying it with a punctuation. Our Father, my Father which is in heaven. Wow. Our Father. This is the personal relationship between God and the believer. I'm His son. I am a believing son. I believe in Him. He is my Father. He is God the Father. And then I'm going to do this. I'm going to say, which art in heaven. What does that bring forth? That brings forth faith from me that I believe that the God in heaven has communion with me. And we have communion with each other. Back and forth like this. Back and forth. We have communion through Jesus Christ the Son. Then I'm going to say something else to Him when I pray this prayer in the morning or at night or during the day or riding down the road in the car. Hallowed be thy name. Now what am I doing? Now I'm taking a sentence and I'm worshiping Him. I'm telling Him that I know that His name is hallowed. And by the way, there are many, many names in the Bible for Him. As the children of Israel walked through the wilderness in different places, they were in different trouble, and they prayed to Him, and He answered them, and they stuck a last name on Him, or another name. And then we say, thy kingdom come. What are we asking Him for? We're asking Him for His kingdom to come. I believe His kingdom has already come to the earth. I believe when Jesus went to the cross, He brought the kingdom of heaven down for you and I, that if we want to live in the kingdom of heaven, if we will live in the exception, if we'll accept it, we can live in that bubble in the kingdom of heaven on this earth. Here we are on this earth and we're living. How close do you want to live to God? Do you want to live heavenly on this earth? You can do it. You can live close enough to God, live heavenly on this earth. And the kingdom is in you. That kingdom has come in you. And you are to take it to others and express it, that kingdom has come. Is there going to be another kingdom one day? Yes, there is. The great and final kingdom. But meanwhile, we have kingdoms where we are. You have many, many, many thrones around this world with kings on them, and they are parts of their kingdom. And their kingdom's on the earth. Why can't we see that God has a kingdom on the earth too? His kingdom on the earth is in the people that are His children. We are the kingdom on the earth. Thy will be done in earth as it is in heaven. This is submission. Now this is what I just said about the kingdom being here. We're asking Him to do His will on earth, just as it is in heaven. Well, what's He going to do that with? He's not going to send angels down here to do it. He left us here to do it. He saved us to portray His kingdom and pass it on to others and submit to it. And then we ask Him for another thing, to give us our daily bread. Give us our daily bread. That's a petition. We're petitioning Him for our daily bread so that we can have it. And if we have our daily bread, then we will know He's gave it to us. And He's always given it to us. And then we have, and forgive us our debts. That's confession. Forgive us our debts. We might ought to say that first. forgive us our debts, and then say the prayer. But forgive us our debts. What kind of debts? What we owe debts. What kind of debts? One of the debt is, listen to this. There is 168 hours in a week. That means we owe 16.8 hours a week directly to the Lord. How do I give him my 16.8? I give it to him by study and on his computer and witnessing to people and doing things that he would have me do, and praying to him and talking to him and doing what he would have me do, plus tithing my 10%. Now the 10% of money that I get is 10% of what I go get at the bank. Tomorrow's my day, I'm going to the bank. First thing I take out is my 10% plus a 50% bonus that I give the Lord every month. And he takes care of me every month. So, $50 over what I'm supposed to give. And then I give him 10% of my time, 16.8 hours a week I give to the Lord in time. And he blesses me. He blesses me with above and beyond that was there, with that daily bread and everything. Now forgive us our debts. This is confession. What is a debt? A debt is, if you're supposed to pray every day a certain amount of time, which you should, part of that 16.8 hours, and you don't pray, then you owe a debt, a prayer debt. If you don't tithe, you owe a debt financially. If you don't give him the time that's his, then you owe him a debt in time. And you ought to pay for it. You ought to pay $10 for every hour that you didn't give him out of 16.8. That's $168.50 more you owe him. That's every week. Oh, wait. Forgive us our debts. Confession. As we forgive our debtors. That's compassion. You are to forgive anybody, anything that they've ever done to you. If you have, my friend, listen to Brother Peter. If you're harboring any kind of grudge against anybody for anything, it will come between you and this prayer. Because every time you pray this prayer, you know what's going to happen? God's going to show you that. You need to go over and tell that guy. I went to a fellow before and said, look, let me tell you something. We didn't know each other too well. I don't like you. I just plain don't like you. I just want you to know that. And he said, well, I don't understand that, but thanks for telling me anyway. I said, I'll tell you what I'm going to do. Now that I got this out and I'm going to tell you this, I'm going to love you and I'm going to make a friend with you and you're going to be my friend. And I'm going to put the devil out of the place. See, the devil makes you do that. And if you confess it and get it out of the way, the devil has to get out of the way, and then you're free to go again. You can't harbor disliking somebody. You can't harbor that. You've got to get rid of it. Now he says here, lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. You know what that is? That's dependency. I'm depending on God to deliver me from evil and to keep me on the right path. For thine is the kingdom and the power and the glory forever. You know what that is? That's acknowledgement. That's acknowledging that God is God and he is the preeminent world ruler. He is here. He is it. He's the one. He's the one that does it. And you say that. I'm going to say that prayer now like I would say it. Our Father, which art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come. Thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread. Forgive us our debts as we forgive our debtors. Lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, the power, and the glory forever. Amen. Amen and amen. And so that's a universal prayer. That's universal. Any country in the world, wherever you are, you can pray that prayer. Any place you are in the world, in the bedchamber, sitting on the commode, eating dinner at a table, you can say that prayer all day long. You can say it in the car going down the road. You can get yourself to where you know it so well that you can say it backwards, forwards, and upside down. Because Jesus said to pray it. He said, when you pray, this is a noteworthy prayer. You pray this prayer. And my Father and myself will hear it and we'll answer you. And we'll do what you ask. You just follow us. That's submission. David spoke part of the model prayer as he prayed and acknowledged that he had sinned. If you've sinned, this prayer covers it. If you've looked at a woman, if you're a man, you've looked at a woman to lust after her, this prayer covers it. If you thought about stealing something, this prayer covers it. This prayer covers everything that's in the normal, average, everyday life. It covers it. So that's what we need to do. We need to be sure and pray it on a daily basis. There are other prayers in the Bible, but this is the one that Jesus said, pray this way. And it's so simple that anybody could do it. And that's why Jesus said it, like he said it. So we're going to call this it. This is a 13-minute little old thing. And we're going to say goodbye, and we'll see you next time. Right. Bye-bye.